welcome back to the Tuesday Tea. My name is Maddie.
I'm Carly.
And we're in February now.
Yes, we are.
But not really. For us, we are batching some episodes because Carly's going to be going out of town for a couple weeks, which I feel like we should talk about that soon,
Okay.
right? But not today.
Not today.
We got to keep you on your toes.
We'll leave you hanging.
She's doing something very exciting.
Where is she going? Submit your guess, why don't you?
Yeah. Ooh, I bet you no one will guess.
No, nobody will guess.
But when everyone finds out, they're going to be like, what the frick?
Yeah.
Carly's the coolest person that we know.
That's not true.
So, yeah, we are batching some episodes for the next couple weeks. But, yeah, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. Today we're going to be talking about the craziest thing that you guys have gotten away with.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys sent in some juicy ones.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever gotten away with anything crazy?
You know, I think you recently learned this about me, but I, in high school, played competitive volleyball.
Yes.
And the cool thing in high school, which I wish life was still this simple, the cool thing to do when you went to school was to wear other schools' sweatshirts or t-shirts.
Yeah, she told me this, and I was like, what? That was not a thing at our high school.
Oh, really? It wasn't?
No.
Like, you were, like, mysteriously sexy. Like, how did she get that t-shirt? Who does she know at that school or on that team? So the actual cool kids would trade or get a t-shirt or a sweatshirt to borrow from their friend that went to that school.
Oh, okay.
I would either go to a thrift store, like I go literally thrifting to find like other school shirts, or and I'm not proud of this. At our club tournaments, they're like the weekends, which side note, how grateful are we to our parents if you're in a club sport? Pay for the team, pay for tryouts, pay for uniforms, pay for shoes, pay for the hotel stays every weekend, pay for food every weekend.
Yeah.
You have to eat out every weekend. Like thousands and thousands of dollars every single year.
Yeah.
Like, thank you. Like, that's so much money of their hard-earned money.
Yeah.
And you don't think of that then.
Yeah, you don't.
So thanks, Mom and Dad. I remember doing this once. I don't think I did it often, but I do think I may have done it once or twice. I distinctly remember one experience. I would go to the Lost and Found and look for a sweatshirt. Just, you can judge. I'm waiting. The silence is for the judgment.
I love that you're acting like you still don't do this now.
I don't.
Yes, you do.
I have never looked at a Lost and Found bin as...
You have evolved your ways, but
What am I doing?
concept is still there.
I haven't stolen anything free. Wait,
Your
what?
leather jacket?
Oh, okay. I'm not... Wait, hold on. We can't disclose more information on that.
No,
but
should we?
I didn't steal a leather jacket.
I think that's actually a really cool story, and I think anyone in your position would have done the same thing. I think we should tell the story.
Let's be super clear. I did not steal a leather jacket. No, I don't think steal is the right term.
It was left behind, and you took it. Okay, so long story short, Carly was at this place, and there was a star from a country western TV show. We can't say which one, but you guys all know it. And one of the main stars was there, and Sir left behind a really nice leather bomber jacket. And Carly so kindly tried to return it, but they couldn't get his contact information to send it back or whatever. And so she just kept it in her car, and when she didn't hear back, she started wearing said jacket.
I was like, shoot, I'm cold. Oh, look at there. I have a jacket.
It is a freaking sick jacket, too.
Yeah,
Like,
cool.
It's so nice, and it looks so good on you.
Yeah, it's frustrating because I reached out to 2 separate people via text and via email saying, hey, this happened. And also, he left so many things.
Yeah.
So many things. And so I decided to take it upon myself to place those things elsewhere, somewhere.
And keep the cool things in your car.
And, yeah, there were some pretty cool things that he actually did leave. It was a lot of stuff. But I was like, my first thought isn't, can I keep this for myself? Of course, because it's a dude and like, I don't want his stuff. But then, I'm not kidding, it was so cold this day out of nowhere. And I was like, you know what? I have to travel back and forth a lot that day and I didn't have a coat. And I was like, I'm just going to keep it in my car until this guy responds. Because yes, I'm like, oh, this is a sweet jacket. But also, I had already overloaded a certain area with all the things he had left behind. So I wasn't trying to like add more, but I was like, yeah, it might be cold. I'm just going to keep it in my car. And I'm sure he's going to respond in an hour, a few hours, or even tomorrow. And I'll just put it where I put everything else. And then he didn't and never did. And yeah, you know.
And now you
I wouldn't say I'm proud of myself. I wouldn't say I'm proud of myself. But it keeps me warm.
Yeah. Now she wears literally such a big Stars jacket around and nobody knows except for a few people. And I feel so honored to know. So if you ever see Carly rocking a really cool leather bomber, just know there's a story behind it.
Ask her who it's from.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is funny because, like, I love how much you love it, and I love how much you, like, care about whose it is and who it's from and just the story behind it. So it's a sweet reminder, but it is very warm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, besides that experience, I wouldn't say I'm frequenting. I mean, I do eat your chopsticks, but you give them to me.
Do I?
Yeah.
I gave you like 3 and you said, I've taken at least 10.
Yeah. No, you've definitely given me at least 10.
I was
over the past year. Every time I'm like, Maddie, I'm hungry. You're like, do you want a chopstick? And I'm like, yes, please. It's been a lot. And so I told Maddie.
My honor to give you chopsticks.
No, you honestly feed me so well. We talked about that last week. But my New Year's present that I'm going to give you is just a bunch of chopsticks. So we're doing New Year's presents instead of Christmas presents.
Can we talk about what you actually got me?
Oh, sure.
She got me a quart of thorns and roses. Is that what it is?
Not the self-doubt, as you try to say the most popular book name in the whole world.
Is it a quart of thorns and roses?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, plurals.
And so the first and the second one.
Yes. Quart of Mist and Fury and a quart of Thorn and Roses.
I'm so excited.
I know.
And she got me the physical books, so no audiobooks this time.
Yes.
So as soon as I finish the book I'm reading right now, I'll start those.
Yes. We have not allowed Maddie to do any Sarah J. Maas on audio, so very excited.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear what you think.
I
would say we should do that for the book club, but I fear the whole world has read that.
Yeah, I fear I'm far behind on this trend.
And the next one, fine. And then we got her a New York Times Tuesday crossword puzzle book.
Yes.
That's supposed to be like easy medium because we were saying how much we want to get smarter.
Yeah.
So we're going to try crossword puzzles.
Yeah. I'm actually doing a physical puzzle right now, too.
You are. You're
really trying to sharpen the mind.
Yes. Neurons are firing.
Yeah.
Anywho, have you gotten away with anything?
Yeah. As I was reading the stories that you guys sent in, I fear I was reminded of a lot of things I've done in my life that I'm not proud of.
How many can you name?
A lot.
Let's go.
Like when I think about my college days and stuff like that, I think I was maybe in a little bit of a rebellious time. It was before I really knew Jesus, so I'm not proud of these things. But yeah, I would do a lot.
Like, are we talking drugs? Are we talking sexy time? Are we talking cheating? What are we doing?
No.
Stealing? Are we a klepto?
Allegedly. There was a time in college where before we were all 21, my friends would go in and steal liquor bottles from the grocery store. And
Madison!
I know. And I would be the driver, the getaway driver, because allegedly.
Right. FYI, the getaway driver also goes to prison.
I know, but I just I wasn't ballsy enough to go in there and grab a bottle of booze.
You're like, I'll do the least of the crimes.
Yeah, or if there would be another driver, I would just wait in the back seat.
Wait, how would they steal it?
They would just go in and put it under their jacket or something.
And not buy anything? Because they were under 21? Mm-hmm. Did you ever get caught?
No.
What?
I only remember doing that twice. But I was just a witness, a bystander, if you will.
Were you?
I don't know. It made me really nervous, but I was I was never the one to do it. I do know that later on, those guys kept doing that even after they were 21.
You're kidding
and
me.
Eventually,
they're addicted.
4 of them did get caught.
You're kidding. Did they go to prison? Maybe not prison, but did they go to jail?
I think so. Yeah, for a day
crazy.
or whatever. And they had to get bailed out. But yeah.
Oh my God, they're addicted to the thrill, or are they just felons?
I think they've come a long way since then.
Okay.
But I think, they were just, young adults just out of college and whatever. And they did get caught. So don't try that at home, kids.
Did they send an update to the group text saying, hey, FYI, our scheme isn't working anymore?
No, I don't think they were very proud of it. I heard it through the grapevine.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, that's actually really sad.
I know.
I mean, shame, I know your name, but like,
I know.
Heck.
It was not good. But I used to do stuff all the time. I was kind of a rebel. Like in high school.
A rebel or a criminal?
I was not the criminal, and I'm sensing some judgment. Should we tell them about your Lululemon scheme or your Facebook Marketplace scheme? I have so many schemes.
I forgot about that. Oh, that's funny. Oh, that's good. No, keep going, please.
No. Don't tell.
Oh, I forgot about that. Wow.
Yeah, in high school, I would take my dogs on walks, and I would really just walk to my boyfriend's house who lived in the same neighborhood.
I'm fine with that.
And I would lie to my mom about it. But I think she knew.
Honestly,
I don't
genius.
I think I thought I was getting away with it, and I think she knew the whole time.
Did you ever sneak out as a kid?
No,
Never.
I was too scared to do that. Did you?
Why were you too scared? Was it like the fear of God they put in you, or were you just like a rule follower?
Well, I think naturally I am more of a rule follower. I think there have been times where I've pushed the limits, but I'm not like a naturally rebellious person.
Got it.
And I also just didn't want to get in trouble. Like, I'm so scared of getting in trouble. The feeling of getting caught doing something wrong is the worst feeling in the world, and I just didn't
Do you still feel that?
Yeah. Well, I don't feel like I do things like that anymore. And I don't have any, like, if my mom is disappointed in me, it's like, well,
yeah,
it's different now.
Yeah. You're not, like, considering being a getaway driver still.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Did you ever have a desire to sneak out? Was there ever a temptation?
No.
Oh, okay. I
Did
feel like
you?
that was like the cool thing to do.
Yeah.
I don't think I really ever had like the desire either. Mm-hmm. And I think I was a rule follower too. Like, but I also was, I don't know, maybe stubborn as well. But I only snuck out once. I actually don't know if my parents know that. Sorry, this is the moment. There was this boy.
What? For a boy?
Yeah. At like 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. he picked me up. This is before Ring camera, so honestly it makes it really hard for any kids these days to sneak out. But yeah, I snuck out and we went to McDonald's. We went to the drive-thru across town. I had never hung out with him, I don't think, in person, which is so dangerous.
How did you meet him?
Facebook. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, scary.
Well, so he played basketball in our conference, like against our team, and I was like, that one's cute. And so I added him on Facebook because, you got the paper rosters back then. And then we chatted. I would say we probably considered ourselves dating at one point because we talked on the phone all the time and texted, and like we would call each other sweetie and say I love you.
Oh
and,
my gosh. Wait,
yeah.
How old were you?
Probably 15 or 16.
Okay.
Yeah. And we did that for like a whole year. And then he picked me up and we went to McDonald's and it was great. And nothing happened, like nothing at all. I think I just probably got ice cream and then he dropped me off and we hugged and I went back in and that was it.
Oh.
So very
Was it the
rebellious.
last time you ever saw him?
Yeah, probably.
Oh.
I actually don't remember, but yeah.
Oh. Well, you knew who he was, though. It wasn't like he was some stranger you never seen. Yeah. You had seen him before.
But we'd never hung out. I don't think.
Yeah.
It's also fuzzy.
Yeah.
It's weird how your brain does that. But anywho, yeah, that was my one and only time of being rebellious. Did you drink in high school?
No, I think I've told this story on the podcast before, but the only party I went to, it was a Halloween party. And I went, have I not told this?
I don't think so.
I only went to one party, and it was with my friend Carol, and we show up, and it was a Halloween party, and I dressed as Where's Waldo. So I'm in like a full sweater and a beanie and glasses, and everyone else is like
it's
sexy
like
mermaids. And like,
it's literally how Jess would be a new girl.
Yeah, I showed up as a total dweeb, did not have a lick of alcohol. I don't think I drank alcohol at all in high school.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then the cops came, and I ran for the hills. I was so scared, and I had done nothing wrong.
Sober.
Literally nothing wrong.
Oh my gosh, that's sweet.
I know, and I never went to another party after that.
Oh,
That's what I'm saying. College was when I like kind of
you let loose.
was unhinged a little bit.
Yeah. That's got to be the average experience, right?
Yeah, but I would say even my experience was pretty mild compared to most.
Your college?
I went to a private Christian college.
Yeah.
I didn't go to like a party public school. So, yeah. Those are my things. One of the submissions was
funny.
About stealing alcohol, and that's what made me think of it.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, oh no. But
yeah, how rebellious. How exciting. What a thrill for you.
I know.
Okay, so now we know a little bit more about your criminal history.
Alleged
Any
criminal history.
Life updates?
I finished Normal People.
How's the heart? How's the mind? How's the perspective on the world?
So the show overall, so good. So, so, so good. It is one I think I will rewatch.
Yes.
Like, I just loved it.
Oh, just the raw and realness.
Yes, it's so real. It just makes you remember, like I said last time, like the nostalgia of being in love and your first love and how that never really goes away. And I just love both the characters. I do have to say, though, the ending pissed me off. So if you have not watched it,
it's awful.
Skip forward maybe like 2 minutes because I'm going to spoil it real quick.
Skip forward 35 minutes.
Yeah, we're going to debrief.
I'm upset.
Yeah. Just skip forward a little. I'm sorry. The ending
I know
is so annoying.
It's
like,
awful.
no, it's not even just like, oh, how sad.
No.
It's stupid. I think the writing is stupid. I don't think that was a good decision.
Do you remember when I told you last week there's a company where you can send a pile of dog poop to someone's house? We should do that to the writers.
We should. Wait, but it was a book,
Sally
right?
Rooney, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming the ending is the same in the book.
So the dialogue at the end is basically the exact same. So you're going to go to New York and I'm going to stay.
Yeah.
Oh
So
God,
basically, okay, if you
chills.
haven't seen the show but you don't care about the spoilers, it's this couple that meet in high school, fall in love, and they have all this like back and forth throughout their life. They date in high school, break up, they date in college, they break up, they date after college. Like, it's just very ongoing. And for the most part, she is the one that is obsessed with him and he's leaving her. Even though he is obsessed with her too, it's always him, like...
He's just not as, like, vocal. He doesn't say things he feels.
But he's the one that leaves and then comes back most of the time. And then she finds other guys while he's gone. And then at the end, they're together. They're healthy. They're emotionally in a great place, both of them. And they're happy. And he's being vocal with his feelings towards her for, like, the first time ever. And they're in this stable relationship. And they're, like... I think they're going to get engaged or get married. And then he gets into this writing school in New York and she tells him to go. And he's like so happy about it. And then he asks her to come with him. And she says no. She says no because she's happy where she's at. Like, I'm so sorry.
You have found the love of your life. Go.
It's so selfish. It's so selfish. Like, okay, you're in love. You're happy. You're stable. And you're just going to decide not to go because you like where you're at right now? I'm sorry, you like where you're at right now because you're with the love of your life. And
what was the reason? I forgot.
She said, I'm happy here.
It wasn't because of her job or anything?
No, she was like, I'm happy here. And she had said a little bit earlier in the episode, like, she's never been content like this in her life, like, in one place and everything. But it's like, you can't deny that a big portion of that is because you're with the love of your life.
Yeah.
And you guys are finally in a healthy relationship.
Yeah, true.
And then she's just going to send him off?
Yeah.
Like, how... stupid.
I wonder,
you wouldn't do that. Wouldn't do that. You would go with him, go live in New York for a year, or keep dating and be long distance.
Yeah, you don't give it up.
No.
Yeah.
And that just pissed me off.
Some people don't agree with that, though. Some people truly believe, like, if the love of your life moves, that is a game changer. And I think my perspective is, if I've found the love of my life, like a Connell and Marianne, I would go to the ends of the earth. We could go to the woods in Switzerland. Well, that'd be great. But, like, Russia. And I'd be happy because I'm with my best friend and anything we do is fun. Some people don't believe that. Some people are like, I need to be in the place I feel most okay in. And I love you so much. And I don't think it's a different level of love. I think it's just different in what you're looking for out of life.
Yeah. That's true. I understand that. But she also, throughout the show, had moved around a bunch. It's not like she was just in one place.
Yeah, she did.
And I think that ending was the most unrealistic ending.
I do think that they ended up together. Well, we all believe that.
Yeah, they better. Like, if there's a part 2, it's after New York, they get back together. But I just hated that. I felt like that was awful. So selfish of Marianne, the girl. And
it's awful.
Yeah.
It was like sadness, but bitterness towards Marianne and anger of just like, pick your stuff up. Even if you're paying double rent, do it for Connell and you.
It's like you're going to New York. You're not going to...
And it's only for a year.
Live in a shack, like, in the desert. You're going to New York.
And even still.
Like, you love to read and write, too. You can do the same thing he's doing.
Yeah.
Ugh, just made me so mad. But overall, great show. Definitely recommend if you want to feel something, you know.
Have you gone down the rabbit hole of Daisy Edgar Jones and Paul Mescal?
I did. I went down the TikTok rabbit hole, and everyone's convinced that they're in love, and I believe it. She is so stunningly beautiful.
Okay, I have no idea. I've never met the woman, but, like, her soul feels so sweet and gentle and kind and humble.
Mm-hmm.
She could be a total narc and butthole, but it feels like she's so sweet, and their friendship is just so meaningful.
Yeah, a lot of the interviews that I saw were saying that this was their first big role, each of them. So the fact that they experienced it together and then blew up together is really meaningful for them.
Yeah.
So I would love if they like dated in real life.
They are. Like, they're both just avoiding, and I 100% believe they will end up together.
I hope so.
That'll be our Connell and Marianne closure.
Yeah.
And speaking of first-time big role as an up-and-coming actor or actress, that was my biggest beef, not to totally derail this into the top news of the year, is I think that was a complete miss on It Ends With Us. Like, in my opinion, I think if you have read It Ends With Us, Lily was not Blake Lively in no way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just the look of Lily, the description of Lily, how Lily dresses, everything about Lily was not Blake Lively. Before all of the drama, I remember when I first heard the cast, I was so disappointed because although I didn't know who Justin Baldoni was and I know he was popular before, I was like, okay, all these people aren't A-list celebrities. They're all just like below that. Like Atlas, I've never heard of. I know he was in Yellowstone, you said?
He was in a Yellowstone spinoff.
Oh, okay. I had never heard of anybody. I'd never recognized it. Doesn't mean anything. But from my perspective, I was just like excited because I'm like, this is going to be a great movie that's going to like bring people up into the spotlight, and it's going to be largely highlighted movie.
So you wanted people that you never heard of before.
Yes.
Okay.
And I remember seeing options for Lily, and I was so excited.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know who any of these people are. It's going to be so good. It's going to be so romantic and like difficult and spread a really important message. And now here we are.
Here we freaking are.
I mean, it could not have gone worse.
Yeah.
For PR. Like, oh my gosh. Has there ever been another movie that's like gone this direction?
I'm not sure. I can't think of anything.
I can't either. I can't think of one that's been in the press this much.
Yeah.
With so much drama.
Yeah. So, like we mentioned earlier, we're filming this a little bit ahead of time, so this might be outdated news by the time it comes out, but there have been so many theories circulating lately that it's actually Ryan that's the problem. Like, obviously, Blake is a problem as well, but Ryan is like a majority of it. I heard this theory that basically he came on set, requested to see the dailies, which are the footage that they filmed that day, and he got really mad at something and was fighting with Blake in the trailer or whatever, and then after that happened, he was on set all the time, like doing the rewriting, just really infiltrating himself, and he was very anti-Justin after that. Some anonymous person on set came out and like released all these statements saying that like Ryan was the problem. So maybe Ryan was threatened by Justin. Long story short, there were all these interviews of like Ryan coming on set.
That was crazy.
Did you see that?
That was crazy.
He interviewed the guy that played Atlas.
And Atlas was like, oh dear God, when he saw that Ryan was the one that was about to start interviewing him and saying, oh, so you're romantic with my wife.
Yeah.
And had like crazy eyes.
Yeah, like you're trying to take my wife from me. How does that feel?
Oh my God, I was shook. And then he brought Hugh Jackman to like add another level of threatening. But what was interesting that when I looked up the anonymous source that came out about all this stuff that happened was Ryan, Taylor Swift, and Blake Lively went to WME, which is William Morris, and said, it's us or Wayfair, which is the production of It Ends With Us.
Yeah.
And so they dropped Justin because Taylor Swift is in the room, which brings so much power. I just can't get over the fact that someone who is not in the script can come in and take over so aggressively and disrespectfully.
Yeah.
I think probably threatened by Justin.
Yeah.
Blake has a history of falling for directors or co-stars. Could be happening. Unsure. Could be happening. And it's just like such a manipulation tactic, if it's true. And so just like overstepping and disrespectful and just wrong. I don't think it's criminal by any means, but stay in your lane.
Yeah. And then to have the audacity to come and claim that he sexually harassed her. Like, I'm not saying that that's been proven false yet or proven true because it's still an ongoing case. From what it looks like, from what I've seen and read, is that didn't happen. Like, one of the biggest claims in her lawsuit was that he drug his nose from her ear to her neck and told her that she smelled so good in this clip.
And it was uncalled for.
Yeah, and it was uncalled for. And unfortunately, they didn't have the audio to prove it, but that's what happened. And then Justin releases the footage and the audio and says, actually, this is what she's talking about. If you watch the footage.
And I do have the audio.
Yeah, and he did have the audio. They are just having like banter back and forth, not even using lines from the movie because the audio is not in the movie, you know, it's like just B-roll. So they're just talking about life and they're kind of cracking jokes at each other.
Also passive aggressively.
Yeah, and her comments towards him.
I'm not even passive aggressive.
Yeah, she tells him that he needs a nose job.
Yeah.
And she's like laughing about it. She's like, I wasn't going to say anything, but you need to get that taken care of. Like kind of as a joke, but not as a joke. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, if
you can body shame him.
Yeah, if he would have said that to you.
Take a month off and get a nose job.
Yeah. Yeah. That would have been in your lawsuit.
Yeah.
Because
100%.
you would have been so offended. But you can say it to him.
100%.
And then her reference to him saying that she smells good, he's talking about her tan, and it's not in a creepy, seductive, sexual way at all.
Which she apologized about, and then he said it smells good.
Yeah.
She said, so sorry about my self-tan as he's acting, because they're supposed to be acting and dancing and in love.
Yeah, and he's like, oh no, it smells good. Yeah. And she's like, oh, that's my body makeup.
Everything is context. Absolutely everything is context. Yeah. And I do think, we were talking about this earlier, like, I do think no matter what side you're on, you could justify both things as of now. Not a sexual harassment, that's not what I'm talking about, but just when Blake in the lawsuit talks about the scene itself, you can see certain sides. But like just from the naked eye and hearing her claims and then now actually having objective data, yikes. It's really
not looking good.
And also she's just like, she's so aggressive in her language. Like she's giggling and laughing as she's acting, but she's saying, me and my husband giggle and talk all the time. There's not enough time in the day to talk. And Justin's like, his turn to talk. And he says, yeah, me and my wife, like, if we were slow dancing, we wouldn't talk. And she goes, what, like psychopaths or sociopaths? Like, if he said that, she would use that against him.
Yeah.
As things come out, it's important to just like look at it with a fine-tooth comb, and especially like speaking publicly about your opinion and who you side with, it's important to look through like the details and stuff like that. But gosh, it's crazy. It makes me sad that someone has the potential of ruining someone's career, and the chance that it's all lies is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And scary to think about.
But I think that at the end of the day, Justin probably did some things that were douchey. Blake did a lot of stuff that she was out of line. And so I think, like, neither one of them are blameless in this situation. Yeah. Like, they're both imperfect. And at this point, it's just a fight for a reputation. Like, who's going to win so that they can save their name? I feel like that's what it's come down to, because Justin, he's been dropped by his, like, that agency and all that stuff. His podcast host dropped him. Blake's reputation is down the toilet. So is Ryan's right now. So it's like, okay, who's going to win so that they could come out on top? My money is on Justin at the moment, but we'll see.
Can you imagine the downfall of such an A-list celebrity couple?
I don't think that this situation will totally ruin them, but it has tainted my view. Like, I was on Netflix the other day and Age of Adeline was on there, and I was like, I'm not watching that.
100%. I have wanted to rewatch It Ends With Us because I've only seen it in theaters, and I won't.
Yeah.
I won't know.
Yeah.
And it's not because of Blake. It's just because of knowing everything you know now.
Yeah.
And also, like, in no world would I ever be able to watch that dancing scene again. Like, in no world.
It's so true.
It's so cringy and, like, oh.
And it just makes me so mad that she didn't even read the book.
I know.
Like, you're going to take on this movie that is so meaningful and powerful for so many people, and you're not even going to read the book?
Well, what sent me right away when the interviewer asked if someone wants to connect with you about this and about DV and all that kind of stuff, and just like, because you played such a pivotal character representing the struggle of DV, and she answered, what do you want me to give them, my location? You want my location? I'm like, that did it for me.
I can't with her.
You're in a press interview for the most highly sensitive film in a long time. And that's going to be your answer when the interviewer asks, how can fans of this movie that have experienced DV connect with you? That was it. Like, that was it. That's just like the meanest thing you can say.
Yeah. And that has nothing to do with Justin. Justin doesn't make her say what she says in her interviews. She does that all on her own.
It's all her.
And she has to own that. Yeah. So.
Have you gone down the rabbit hole of her and Leighton Meister?
Yeah. How she made that joke about her being born in jail.
Like, nobody's denying, like, isn't a kind human. Like, nobody's denying that. But it is important to make sure, like, any of the sexual harassment is taken care of and, like, properly resolved. So we're all aware she's not a nice human being.
Yeah, I don't think that's anyone's argument.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I never knew that about her. And so, like,
I know,
the fact that I've learned that is
Yeah.
frustrating.
Yeah, I keep seeing all these things that are like, this is how you know the press has favored Blake Lively for so long, because she has all of these horrible interviews, horrible moments, things that she said, and they've never been publicized.
Yeah.
Until now.
Yeah.
And so she probably hates TikTok because TikTok is her demise. Anyways, we've talked about Blake Lively for so long.
Yes.
We have a quick story to tell you.
Oh, no.
Before we get into these submissions.
It's time.
It's time that we share.
Time.
We have a doozy of a story of something that happened over Christmas, and we had to wait it out a couple months to talk about it. Because
let it diffuse a little.
Yeah, we wanted the man in subject to stop listening to our things before we talk about him. So, you guys, remember
the tea is piping.
Yeah, we have some piping tea.
Gosh darn it.
Do you remember Chick-fil-A guy? Okay, the guy that asked about taking Carly on the Chick-fil-A date. So she had gone on one date with him before Christmas time. And when I was flying home for Christmas, Carly texted me and said, look out for, what should we name him? Jimmy? Should he be?
Sure.
Okay. Look out for Jimmy on your flight, because Jimmy lived in California and was flying home at the same time I was. And I was like, there's no way. I fly to a very small town in California. Like, there's no way that we're on the same flight.
Keep your eyes peeled.
But she told me to keep my eyes peeled, so I did. So I board the plane, and I'm sitting at the front of the plane in a window seat, and there's someone in the aisle seat. And the whole back of the plane's open, okay? And I see, out of the corner of my eye, Sir Jimmy coming down the aisle, waltzing down, so much that I take a picture to send to Carly. I'm like, oh my gosh, I see him.
You did?
Yeah, I have a picture. And so...
Did he not see that?
I don't think so. I hope not. But I see him, and then as he gets close to me, I turn my head to look out the window because I don't want to say anything to this man. So I turn.
You've also never met, let's be clear.
No, I've never met him. I've only seen him on Hinge. So I turn my body, and I see out of the corner of my eye him look at me, look away, and then like look back, like a double take. And I'm like, oh, God. And I like get tense. And then he goes, Maddie, is that you?
Sweating.
Yeah. He goes, Maddie, is that you? And I look over. I'm like, hi. Acting like I don't know who he is. He just said, I'm Jimmy. And I was like, oh, Carly's Jimmy? He's like, yeah.
The fact that he got a Carly's is crazy.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, it's so funny. Good to see you. And I turn away. Like, I physically, because at this point, he's like behind my seats, right? Like, he's past my aisle. So I turn back. And then he pops back around and says, is anyone sitting there? And I'm like, oh, God. Because clearly there was no one there. And I was just like, no.
You're like, actually, yes.
I should have said yes. I need to be better at lying on the spot.
Yeah.
But I said no. And then he was like, can I sit there? And I'm like, what am I supposed to say? You have put me in an impossible position. So then I'm like, sure. So Sir comes, even though there's an entire plane open, and I'm sitting there with a coat. I've got my dog on my lap. And mind you, I really like it when I have the middle seat open when I'm flying with my dog, so that I could put her in the middle seat so that she's not like smothering me the whole flight.
And key point about you, you don't like to talk on planes.
No, I don't like to talk to anyone.
Much less a stranger.
Yeah, me and Carly fly together. I'm silent the whole way. I'm reading a book, or I'm watching a movie, or I'm doing work.
Dare talk to me.
Yeah, planes are quiet time for me. Socializing on a plane is quite literally my worst nightmare in the entire world.
Much less with a stranger.
And not even to mention my superstition. I have to listen to this one song when I take off. I have like my takeoff song. And it's kind of like grown into a superstition a little bit. Like I just have to listen to it. 100 Years. Do 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 do. You know that one?
Oh, yeah. Is it by The Fray? 15
5 for fighting. Yeah.
Sorry, you're taking off right now. Like,
no, that's like my takeoff song.
Wait, no way. I did not know that about you.
Yeah.
When did that start and why did that start?
A couple years ago.
Why?
I don't know. Like, Pickleball Boy would always joke that, like, even if we were in mid-conversation, if the plane starts taking off, I'm like, gotta go. And I put him on and listen to that song.
Yeah.
Like, I don't talk to anyone.
You don't know where it started?
I think one day it's on my liked songs, which are my downloaded songs for planes. And I think one day I was just listening to it, and I think it's like a really meaningful, special song.
Yeah.
And so I was just thinking about my life as it was taking off, and it like calmed me because I get nervous flying.
Gosh.
So then I just kind of made it a tradition.
That's sweet. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Good to know.
So yeah, anyways. Didn't listen to that on this flight because Sir Jimmy comes and sits in the middle and starts chatting. And I'm like, this is going to be the longest flight of my entire life. Luckily, it was a direct flight, so there wasn't any layover where we would feel obligated to hang out with each other.
But still, that's a 4-hour flight to California.
4 hours, yep. 4 hours. The shortest flight I've had from Nashville to California in a long time, but sure felt like the longest because he started chatting with me the whole time not the whole time. Let's see. We chatted for about 2.5 hours.
Oh.
And then it got to the point where because I downloaded a movie to watch, and it got to the point where I was just like, okay, I'm going to listen to the movie. Put my headphones in, started to watch my movie, and he kept talking to me. He would say stuff, and I would have to take out my headphones and be like, what? Sorry? And like, I was trying not to be like, show that I was annoyed, but I was so annoyed. But yeah, he talked to me the whole time, just chit-chatting about life. He asked about you a couple times, found out about his family, about all this stuff. It was just the most awful experience. And also the air conditioning wasn't working. Oh. And I have my coat and my dog on my lap. I'm sweating. God. I just did a tan. Wet. So you know how like tan sweat smells gross? No. It was just so incredibly awful. And I couldn't wait to tell Carly about it. I couldn't text because he was literally right next to me. And yeah, so immediately when I landed, I texted Carly. And at the end, when we landed too, he said, can I give you my number?
So weird.
Which was so strange. But like, again, he phrases these things in a way where what am I supposed to say? No? Like, can I give you my number?
I can't.
So I was like, okay.
I'm triggered.
And then he like called me from the number thing, which I think is such a weird possessive move.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. Well, he put it in and he called.
Well, I remember, and he texted me, hey, I assume you heard by Maddie that I saw her on the plane. And I was like, yeah, how did you recognize her? Because, hot take, for somebody to not only recognize a stranger, that's one thing. To go up and say, are you this person, is another level. To go one level above and say, can I sit with you, is like, in my opinion, creepy.
Beyond.
Okay, let's say there's a guy I'm really, really interested in, and I see his co-host on the plane. I wouldn't even say, are you this person? I'd be like, oh, acknowledge. I just saw, I think, his podcast host, and I have a crush on this other guy. I move on and I sit somewhere else, and that's it.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm not saying it's wrong to be bold at all, or like to be upfront and like super social. We had gone on one date. Had we gone on 6 or 7, or you guys had met at a group gathering?
Yeah.
Totally. But like, so kind of possessive and like, I think creepy. Mm-hmm. And so I really wasn't sure, especially after the blocking situation, which did we talk about that on the podcast? The blocking?
I think we did, yeah.
Okay. So I was like a little bit hesitant just based on how we handled that and how I feel like kind of possessive is a good word. He was acting like constantly wanting to text. I was like, this is just too much. But I was like, okay, I think I'll go on one more date just to feel it out. So we go on the date and he proceeds to tell me. He told me about Maddie and seeing her at the airport. And he told me that Maddie asked him to sit with her.
It still irks me so bad to this day. The audacity that this man has.
Do you not think we yap for a living? You don't think within the moment she landed, she told me everything? Like, and she isn't a liar. Like, your integrity is in question because of all of the name dropping you've done. You're definitely lying about other things. Like, I don't trust you. I have no reason to trust you. Over my best friend? Are you out of your mind?
And you know me. You know that
exactly.
You
would tell me that.
I would literally do anything to not talk to someone on a plane.
Exactly.
Like,
to be like, oh no, please come. Sit down. I'd love to chat.
Imagine me inviting a stranger to come sit next to me on the plane.
I don't think you'd even invite me to sit next to you.
No, I like sitting next to strangers if they're quiet strangers. I don't like sitting next.
I prefer strangers over friends, actually, because they're quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said, I asked. And what else did he say?
What else did he say?
He said that he told me that he had to work, and I kept trying to talk to him.
Yes, he said, I have to work, so I'm going to... Yes, oh my God. Oh my gosh, like, why lie about that?
Yeah.
Like, I don't view you as cool or, like, attractive. Lying.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean? Like, it's just insane.
I think maybe he realized that what he did was kind of creepy, so he's trying to backpedal and make it
Don't lie about it.
Yeah.
But I had asked him when he texted me that he saw you on the plane. Oh, how did you recognize her? Because that was really alarming to me, and he didn't respond. So I asked him in person, how did you even recognize her?
Uh-huh.
And he said, just because the one profile photo on Hinge.
I'm so
I was
sure.
like, okay, Maddie is like very beautiful and also distinct looking. She's not your average beautiful gal. She's like a distinctly beautiful woman. But still, like the fact that you approached her is crazy. It's crazy.
He obviously stalked
He's a kook.
our podcast and stalked
100%.
our stuff because that's how he knew that you blocked him and talked about him in the first place.
100%.
So that's how he recognized me,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Oh, this is just red flag city.
But you know what happened with the work stuff too? Because he had his laptop and I said, oh, do you have work that you have to do? Thinking that he was like hoping that he was going to say yes. And he's like, yeah, but I don't really want to.
Ew.
And it wasn't until I went to my movie that he pulled out his laptop.
You are so...
I know. And then he has the audacity to act like I'm the one that wanted to talk to him. I'm the one that like... prevented him from doing his work because I was just wanting to chat him up.
In what world?
Like, that is so
You barely made it
gross.
through the conversation alive.
I did.
Emotionally.
Yes.
Yeah.
Physically. It felt like I was going to have a heart attack. I was going to keel over at any moment.
So sweaty.
They tell him what he said about the podcast.
You guys, an unsupportive boy.
Yeah.
He was like, you have two routes right now. You're in this podcast. Do you even enjoy it? I was like, you don't even know my middle name. Like, he said, you have two avenues. If you even enjoy this podcast world, you can either take the high road and leave and be open to quitting because I am trying to pursue a private lifestyle out of the media, or be in the limelight and be public for the rest of your life. And I was so flabbergasted by that comment. I'm like, you don't even know me. You have no idea my passions. You don't know my career. You don't know my relationship with Maddie. You don't know our goals. You know nothing about me. And like, to think someone who's trying to pursue me so hard is so unsupportive of something I spend a lot of time doing and enjoy doing. Like, he was like, why do you even like want to do it? And I'm like, because I think that there's a world of females out there that are looking for community and a safe place and just entertainment and fun. And like, I think Maddie and I have really cool stories. Like, also, why am I defending my podcast to you?
Like we're on a second date. You should be supportive of the things that I'm doing and have created and am pursuing.
Exactly. And also, in any of my other dates, I don't talk about the podcast. I'd prefer to keep them separate for as long as possible because of the nature of it. Like, it's just something I prefer to do. And the fact that he knew right away because of, quite frankly, stalking, I was shook. And I go, I don't think they're mutually exclusive. Like, I don't think I can have a podcast and also have to be public, quote unquote, or in the limelight. But also, if I wanted to, I want somebody that's supportive. I didn't say that. I didn't say that last part. But I was so shocked, and I'm sure he could tell on my face. He was just like joking. It was so nice knowing you, blah, 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 blah. And then he like kept going, trying to make me fall in love with him. And it was just the biggest ick and red flag. He already had plenty. I was never going to talk to him again after this anyways, but this only added to the fire.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't believe it. And it was just really gross.
Yeah.
He name dropped a lot again. He was like, oh, this was so nasty. He was like, if you're a boy listening to this, don't name drop. He was like, what kind of girls do you think are pretty? Weird. And I was like, I think Kendall Jenner's beautiful. I think Hailey Bieber's beautiful. He goes, oh, I know Hailey Bieber. I talk to her all the time. And I was like, cool.
I talk to her all the time. I'm so sure.
Yeah. Which
I was like, I asked to sit next to you.
Exactly. Same. I was like, oh, cool. And I like kept moving on to like change the subject. And he goes, I'm so sorry. Do you not believe me? And I'm like, my gosh, he literally woke up and chose aggression.
Because he's just wanting to tell this story to you.
Exactly.
He's like trying to bait you and you're not hooking.
Exactly. What do you want me to say? Oh my gosh, please show me. Like, I'd love to see. No, I don't care.
Yeah.
He's like, it seems to me you literally don't believe me. And I was like, oh no, it's like, I literally don't care. I said that. And it was just like, it just didn't sit well with him. Like,
yeah.
I'm not folding to your games.
Yeah.
Or like,
which I'm sure that line works for him all the time.
So you guys, it took a turn for the south.
Mm-hmm.
Very quickly. It was really uncomfortable, and it was just bad all around.
We should have known at the Chick-fil-A joke.
We should have. We should have. So that's our update about Chick-fil-A, boy. I know you guys have just waiting on the edge of your seat for that update, but
I've been waiting to tell it.
Yeah, the plot was crazy, and so there's closure for Chick-fil-A, boy.
Yeah.
It's not
now
happening.
I'm going to be nervous every time I fly home that he's going to be on my
You should
flight.
be. You should be on the lookout.
Oh, also,
maybe sit in the back in a middle seat.
Side note, he told me that he bought his ticket the day before because he just doesn't like to plan flights. Mm-hmm. He spent $750 on this one-way flight because he didn't buy
in the middle seat.
Yeah, to sit in the middle seat when the whole rest of the plane was open.
He probably had, to be fair though, had the time of his life. He probably thought that was so worth it. Honestly. Like with his psychopath behavior, 100%.
Honestly, you're probably
right.
He
probably was like, that was the best $750 I've ever spent in my entire life.
Tragic. Anyways, we hope to never see him or run into him again. If we do,
God willing,
we'll have to tell you guys how it goes. But hopefully, he's done.
Yeah. Honestly, it was a really good practice. Good for the plot.
Yeah.
Not gonna work out.
Not gonna work out.
All right, we're gonna move into submissions.
Okay.
For the craziest thing you've gotten away with.
I'm so excited.
Okay. My first one. Back when I was 18, my ex cheated on me. He was weirdly obsessed with his car. Me and my best friend at the time decided to seek our revenge by egging his car. Along with chocolate syrup and other things, we left laughing our asses off. For whatever reason, we decided we would throw a few bags of trash in his yard just to make things more of an inconvenience. So we stopped at a small shopping center which also had a hair salon. To my surprise, when I opened the dumpster, there was a giant bag of hair.
No!
Which, my worst nightmare.
Your worst nightmare.
My worst nightmare. We definitely went back and completely covered his car in hair. Think Dumb and Dumber car. And I've never laughed so hard in my life. Honestly, it's just like a movie scene. Fast forward a few days, I have to go to the police station for questioning because it was so cold the eggs froze on the car and chipped the paint, so he filed a police report.
Shoot.
I lied and somehow got away with it. A few weeks later, we ended up getting back together and he was showing me pictures of his car and it took everything in me not to burst out laughing. He still to this day never found out who did it.
Are they still dating?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
Crazy.
The fact that he filed a police report?
I know.
Oh, that's bad.
And she went in for questioning.
Oh my gosh, terrifying.
You would have been shaking in your boots.
I would have folded. As soon as I walked in, like, I'm sorry, take me away.
Yeah, at least 5 years.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I've kind of always wanted to.
Syrup?
Yeah.
I've never heard of that on a car.
Creative. Or the hair.
Sticky.
Genius.
Sticky.
Yeah, with
Gross.
the hair in there.
I know.
Other people's hair of all different kinds.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even think of different kinds.
Different colors, textures, lengths. Oh, that is so
Makes
gross.
Me, my gag reflex. And that girl's got some ideas.
I've always wanted to egg someone's car, though. I've never done it, but it sounds fun.
Yeah, it sounds very exhilarating. Very therapeutic.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, my first one. I had a horrible ex-boyfriend. This was the time when I lived in Boston. He made me meet somebody to pick up something and then bring it back home on the train. He lived outside the city, so I was going to visit him on the weekend. I picked up the bag from somebody and had no idea what it was. I just put it away in my backpack. I was walking towards the subway and there was 3 cops saying they were doing a random search. Mind you, I lived in the city for over a year and never experienced anything like this. They asked for identification and I didn't know what to say, but my gut feeling told me that the bag in my backpack was not something good. I tried to tell them that I was actually meeting somebody, but they weren't actually at the subway stop anymore, so I had to turn around and they said, "Okay, thank you. Have a nice day." Turns out it was a bag full of marijuana, which was not legal at the time.
Oh,
To say that I broke up with him goes without saying.
Wow. Heck, man.
Not him sending you on the drug deal.
No, literally. What an aggressive move, sir.
And not telling you.
Exactly.
Like, hey, you're going to go meet up with a drug dealer? Maybe look alive, look alert. Not giving any sort of warning.
Watch your 6.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so crazy. What a buffoon.
For her not to ask any questions either.
Yeah.
Like, oh, hey, what is it?
I trust you with my life. No problem. Anything you need, I got you.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's berserk. Okay, this one's so funny, and I have a bone to pick with you, whoever you are.
Uh-oh.
I worked at a call center years ago, and it was work from home when I tell you that I hung up on every single call for 3.5 years of working there, except the first day of the month and the 14th and the 25th. This was when quality assurance would listen in and give us a score, and I never once got caught or fired. I was even offered a couple promotions, but never wanted to actually commit since I knew if I accepted, I would have to actually work. I've been guilty for this for years since it was in the medical industry.
Oh.
You are the person hanging up on me.
What?
Honestly, I'm so glad you got that off your chest. Honestly, so glad.
Wait, so what were people calling about?
I don't know. That's a good question. A call center in the medical industry. So maybe like troubleshooting, I don't know, something for Stryker or something, I don't know.
Oh my
Or
gosh.
like a medical device.
There's nothing worse than when you've been on hold for like hours.
And you hear it pick up and hang up.
Yeah.
You
have caused many a bad days.
Yeah.
I hope you know
You
that.
have a lot of foul language on the other end.
Oh my gosh.
Hey.
See, you always think when that happens, like, there's no way they did that on purpose. The line must have just dropped.
Yeah.
No, they're doing it on purpose.
And they're getting paid. And you know what? I do commend you for not taking the promotion.
Yeah.
Because to be in leadership, sometimes it's good if you were on the floor for a while doing the work. So you're an expert.
Yeah.
She's like, I actually don't know how to solve these problems.
I love that she was smart enough to find the days where the higher
For
ups
quality
were,
assurance?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I hate that for you, but I love that for you. Okay?
Yeah, I hate that for us.
Yeah.
I love that for you.
Okay, my next one. A couple years ago, my husband and I planned a last-minute trip to Nashville for our anniversary.
Hey.
We planned on staying 3 days and 2 nights, and we're driving. We get down there, and the first day we decided we would rather spend our anniversary at home together instead of in a hotel. And we had already done everything we wanted to do in Nashville since we'd been there before. Only problem was, it was too late for us to cancel our second night at the hotel. It definitely wasn't cheap, and we really wanted to get at least some of our money back.
Oh, no.
We decided to tell the hotel staff that there was a family emergency to try to get at least some of our money back. My husband sends me down to the front desk to handle this. Why did he send you?
Best of luck, honey. Go get him.
I practice in the elevator what I'm going to say.
Gosh.
Keep it vague, keep it simple. I get to the front desk and tell the guy at reception that we need to cancel our second night and we're hoping to get some of our money back. He asked why we needed to cancel and my brain decided to stop functioning. I blurted out, our dog died. Internally, I thought this was an innocent lie, even if it came out of nowhere. The guy looks at me, tears in his eyes, and informs me that his dog just died.
Oh my gosh.
He pulls out his phone and is showing me pictures and crying and starts hugging me. I had no idea what to do, so I just stood there and hugged him back. They refunded us our whole second night. And then when we checked out the next morning, all the hotel staff said sorry for your loss as we walked out.
Oh my goodness. That is just such a good reminder not to lie because you will find yourself in the most uncomfortable or awful situation known to mankind. Like that is going to haunt her for the rest of her life.
Not everyone being so nice.
Literally. Imagine them like paying for the funeral, like offering to pay.
Or like sending up like a cake or champagne or something.
Oh
to say
my
sorry.
gosh. It doesn't sound like she's like happy about her decision, which is good. Like certainly feels awful. But that was just what he needed. He had found a friend in that moment.
Yeah,
a
you know what? That's so true.
Gosh.
Maybe he needed you to be there to comfort him and empathize with him in that time.
I'm so curious what hotel it was.
That's so funny. Just imagine the couple driving home, like just
being
dying at what just happened.
Tail
to them.
between the legs. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Wow, that's so funny.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Such a good reminder not to lie.
Yeah.
Okay, I love this one. I told my parents I was going for a run. I don't run. And brought home a baby kitten. I told them I found him in a chip bag, but I bought him for $16 from a loser that was going to drown it in my high school.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
She bought him from $60.
For $16 from a loser from her high school.
Oh.
Was going to drown it.
Okay.
It's like that we F with cats.
Yeah.
We kept him and I didn't tell them until 8 years after this.
Wait, you didn't tell your parents you had a cat at the house?
No, he or she, whoever, lied and said that she found the kitten in the bag on the side of the road on the run.
And she didn't tell them about the lie.
Yeah, that she actually bought it.
Why would you have to lie? You're saving the cat from someone who's going to kill it.
Yeah,
it's not like you're just going to the animal shelter and buying a cat.
Yeah, yeah. It's probably one of those like hero things. Like, look, I found a cat on the side of the road that was struggling. And really, like, you were also still a hero because you saved the cat, but you paid for it. You know,
that's
you
so
lied
funny.
that you were going on a run.
I told him I went on a run.
Yeah.
I found a cat in a chip bag.
Yeah.
Because I just stop and look in the chip bags on the side of the
exactly.
road.
The family-sized Doritos.
That's so
Two
funny.
lies. I don't run and I found a cat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A hero in our midst.
Absolutely.
Okay, this one's really short. I'm a police officer. Part of the hiring process is taking a polygraph test. I lied on one of the questions and still passed.
Oh, dear. Which one?
Good.
Oh, dear. What county are you in?
We have questions.
Not great.
How accurate are polygraph tests?
Well, they're not admissible in court.
Oh, so they're not that accurate.
Yeah, unfortunately. Because I feel like that would be the perfect thing to use in court.
Yeah. Or like a truth serum. Is that a real thing?
Oh, that would be so smart.
Like in all the movies? They should invent that.
They should. They should. I think it can be like a factor in court, but it's not like objectively objective.
Okay.
Right?
Allegedly.
Okay, my next one. I haven't bought a bottle of Tabasco in years. When I'm running low, I just steal another one from Chipotle.
Oh.
I guess it's on the side by the sauces, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not like, it's not on the line.
Yeah.
Heck. We got criminals in our midst.
You know, those things, it's always so easy to be like, Chipotle's doing fine. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, that just doesn't justify it.
No,
for me.
it's also $3 at the store.
Exactly.
Just go buy it instead of stealing from a business.
Yeah, convenience and stealing over $3 and inconvenience.
At least if you're going to steal, it's from a big food chain, not like a mom and pop. But I don't think that makes it better. Yeah.
Do it from
go steal from
$1 billion
McDonald's.
company.
Yeah. Have you ever stolen from a restaurant?
I did once. I was 16 in Colorado, and I thought they had the coolest silverware, and I took their spoon.
Oh.
And fork.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they stayed with the family for a long time. And every time we saw it, we're like, oh my gosh, the place was called Spoons. It was the coolest silverware ever.
Mm-hmm.
Looking back, shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that steal cups from breweries.
My dad is an accountant, and one of his clients is a brewery, and he says how often they have to rebuy new cups because of how much they're stolen.
Yeah.
Which, like, I could never do that. Like, I would never be like, I'm going to take, and I know people to this day that do that.
Yeah, I never really thought it was that big of a deal until I saw this TikTok of a brewery, like a small brewery owner.
Yeah.
And it was like this girl showing all the stuff that she's like stolen, like thinking that it's like lighthearted and not a big deal.
Not.
And he's like, hey, so that actually costs us like X amount of money per year. And our revenue is only this amount of money and we're barely staying alive. And like you stealing from us like is not cool. Like please stop stealing.
Because I do think if you don't have that perspective, it can be easy to justify. Like they have so many cups.
Yeah.
When my dad told me how much they have to rebuy every year, it's just really, really sad.
Yeah, it is sad.
Yeah.
I'm sure that they sell the cups.
They sure do.
Go ask them.
For $5.
Yeah, I'm sure you could buy one. Okay, my next one. I drove my mom's car when I only had my permit. When she was at work, I took the car to pick up my friend. I put it back exactly where it was before and didn't even move the seat because my mom and I are the same height. When my parents got home, we got in the car to head out to dinner. Well, immediately my mom asked if I drove the car. I, of course, said no. Why? She said she knew I drove the car because she did not leave the radio station on that channel. I said that was absurd and I don't even have my license yet. Why would I take the car? Gaslighting.
Yeah.
But she wasn't having it. She swore up and down, accusing me, practically screaming, saying how reckless I was. My dad stepped in and asked me straight up if I used the car. I told him no, sticking with my lie.
Ugh.
I was pretty convincing that this was a crazy accusation. My parents both got out of the car, started arguing while I just sat in the back seat listening to my mom swearing to the bone that I must have gotten in the car. Dad said we had no proof and that the radio station wasn't hard evidence. He's a lawyer, lol.
Incredible.
When they got back in the car, mom fuming, we went to dinner. I still haven't confessed to this day, but she was right. I kind of feel bad about it now, but I was too scared to tell her the truth.
I wonder if she's told her.
No, she hasn't.
She still hasn't.
Yeah, she said she still hasn't
She
said
should.
anything.
That was years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, just let her live.
The mom's going to be so mad.
Give her a few years back on her life. My goodness. That
There's
poor woman.
nothing worse than that, though, when you know that someone's lying and they won't admit it.
True.
And you're like, I know that you're lying. Like,
That's
I just
what we call
know it.
trust broken.
Yeah.
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 100%.
Not to make you feel guilty, but...
Yeah. You should tell her over a glass of wine or something.
Yeah.
If it was last year, maybe don't. But if it was years ago.
You'll have a laugh about it now.
Yeah, you will. I feel like I've read so many stories where they were like got into huge arguments with their parents and then years later it was funny.
Yeah.
I feel like there were probably so many moments where I was stubborn or lying to my parents that I would love to redeem now, but I don't remember them.
Yeah, exactly. Crazy how you forget.
It really is. All right, my next one. So good. I once snuck up on a random girl on the street and poured a bottle of chocolate syrup on her head, then ran away before she or anyone else could catch me. Just had to let it out.
Maybe ask why.
You don't ever get that impulse?
Yeah. I fear your intrusive thoughts are winning.
Like, what happened to you that you, first of all, had a bottle of chocolate syrup in your car? Second, to willingly open your door, get out, run, and just... Gosh, what was
Could you imagine if you were just walking on the street?
I honestly would think I'm dying. Like, I would think, like, it's acid or it's something that's about to kill me. And really, it's just chocolate syrup. And it's actually very lighthearted.
Came and poured that on your head?
I don't know what I would think. I would think I'm definitely dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so random.
Like, the world is ending.
Yeah.
Definitely. Because that just doesn't happen day to day.
You know what? I bet you made those people stay. I bet that was like on their bucket list for so long.
Never have I ever. That person is winning.
Yeah, yeah.
That person is winning.
You know what I was thinking? An episode of Put a Finger Down If.
Ooh.
Like, you know that trend where it's like the most random thing that's happened to you in your life?
Yeah.
We should do an episode of this.
I love the people on TikTok that are like, put a finger down if, and then it's a 2-minute video of just absolute obscene things happening to them.
Yeah.
And it's so funny.
I saw this one girl that was like in a car. Someone pulled a knife on her, forced her to get out of the car. And for some reason, she like jumped on the hood. And then the guy like stole her car and drove on the freeway. It really just kept escalating.
She's like, put a finger down.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
and then
epic.
she like fell off and
gosh.
got run over by her own car.
Oh my gosh. And she's alive to tell the story.
Yeah, she's okay.
Wow. That doesn't sound funny
It's
at
just,
all.
Like, every step, it just got worse.
Yeah.
We need to do an episode of those.
We should.
Okay, my next one. I was home from college and staying at my parents' house. I was probably 19 or 20. My boyfriend at the time was drunk and would often call me in the middle of the night to go pick him up from a bar or at a friend's house. So one night he calls me and I get in my car to leave and end up backing into my sister's car. I got out and realized the hood of her car was all smashed up, but my car didn't have a single scratch on it. So I went and picked up my boyfriend, dropped him off at his house, and went back home and went to sleep. The next morning, I told my parents I needed to run to the store, but made the excuse that I didn't have any gas, so I asked if I could take my sister's car. They said, yeah, no big deal, and nobody knew what had happened the night before. So I went to a couple stores, and when I got back, my dad noticed the damage to the car. I pretended like I didn't know what happened and said someone must have hit it while I was in the store. My parents ended up calling the mall and Walmart, but neither of them had working cameras.
Oh my gosh.
Not that they would have even seen anything. So to this day, nobody knows it was me.
Wow. Let that one out. Let it air out.
Yeah.
Come on. Let's go.
It was so smart of her to make up that lie, actually, though. That was pretty impressive.
She's a genius.
Yeah. Love that for her.
Yeah. Okay, my next one. Once me and my friends had a concert in the girls' bathroom during lunch. We had a drum set, a keyboard and guitar, a simple 3-song set, but probably 40 people showed up. Not a single teacher found out about us, though. One for the ages.
What?
A 40-person concert in the girls' bathroom during lunch.
Honestly,
that is iconic.
Icons.
I wonder if there was like a video or anything, depending on when it was.
That sounds like a scene out of like a 90s rom-com.
100%. 100%.
You are the coolest person
You really are.
I've ever known.
Like, who organized that? I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
How'd you get the drum set in the bathroom?
How did they not hear?
I know.
We have so many
rock
questions.
Band.
Do you have photo evidence? Because I would love to see.
Yeah, me too.
We'll share it if anyone sends it in. Okay, my last one. Summer after senior year of high school, I wanted to go visit a boy who lived 4 hours away in a whole different state. So I planned a whole girls' weekend lie to tell my parents so they wouldn't know what I was actually doing. A few days prior to this, my mom's car ended up breaking down and she was using my car, which put a big dent in my plan. So I ended up paying my friend to drive me and meet with this boy halfway so I could go visit him and then also meet me halfway to take me home at the end of the weekend. Spent the whole weekend with him at his parents' house and my parents never knew. I didn't tell him until a year ago.
Nice. Let it out.
Yeah. When we were all talking about things we've gotten away with.
Wow.
I feel like there's everyone, maybe not everyone, so many people have gone to like stay at a boy's house or something and the parents didn't know.
Yeah.
But to make up a whole lie for the weekend, that's bold.
Yeah, that is. It's very risque.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scandal.
Okay, my last one. Drunk at a music festival. Saw there was a 15-year-old kid working at the foot-long corn dog booth. Walked up and waited a couple seconds. Kid looked at me and said, "Did you already pay?" I said yes, and that was the greatest corn dog of my life. awful.
sweet
Taking advantage of the
15-year-old.
sweet boy.
Aw.
I know. He was just double checking good customer service.
Yeah, he was just doing his job.
Oh my good grief.
And she's like, I enjoyed every
Yeah.
second of it.
Best corn dog of my life.
That's funny.
These were so good, you guys. Thank
Yeah.
you for sending in.
These were great. You guys sent in the juicy stuff.
Yeah, you did.
I loved all of them.
I challenge all of you to be honest with your parents.
Yeah.
Maybe not your exes. Parents. If you want. See what happens.
I feel like anytime you come back with the story like this now, it's just a good laugh.
Yeah.
You know?
It is a good laugh. I
Yeah.
agree.
But thank you guys for listening. We hope you enjoyed. If you're not following us on Instagram or YouTube or TikTok, be sure to follow us. And we will see you guys in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.